Hey, true believers and fellow Mouseketeers, Englantine here with my friend Dalton.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about the Aladdin remake, man. You saw it last night or today?
I saw it last night.
Yeah, me too. And I got to say, of course, the casting of Will Smith was a bit of a controversy, but in all honesty, I've got to say, you got to be honest. Anybody would have.
He tried. He
Yeah.
really tried.
But
Yeah.
nobody could do Robin Williams. It's just not going to happen. No one was going to be satisfactory. The only thing you could hope to achieve by taking this role was coming close to something fun.
Yeah, and something different enough that no one was going to pillory you in the street over trying to be a discount Robin Williams.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the original movie, basically it follows a vague outline of Aladdin and the 40 Thieves, where you have a street rat meets a girl in a market, finds out that she's a princess, but before anything can be done, gets kidnapped by the evil vizier Jafar.
You mean Aladdin and the Wondrous Lamp, 40 Thieves with Alibaba.
Okay, there you go. You're right. He gets he's sent into the Cave of Wonders, and while there, he finds a lamp and the genie, and he decides, okay, he wants the genie to help him get the princess. That's the basic outline for the one person who hasn't seen the cartoon. The movie itself changes nothing in the story, absolutely nothing. Overall, I gotta say that I think this is the second best live action Disney movie, the remake.
See, I'm of the opposite opinion. I think it's
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Yeah. This entire movie felt like summer stock. It really did. And that's where I told you we're not going to disagree as much as we might think here, Dalton.
Yeah, the difference here is I generally kind of like the live action translation, then you generally kind of hate the live action.
I really don't. There's not. I like Jungle Book. I thought Cinderella was passable. I could tolerate the live actions. I don't, other than Jungle Book, I haven't really liked any of them. And even Jungle Book has some serious flaws to it. One of them is not Christopher Walken singing "Wanna Be Like You," by the way.
That's just hilarious.
I love it. But here I was watching the same story play out, a lot of the same dialogue. There were some cringe moments.
Were there ever cringe moments?
Yeah, there was. Now, I've got two daughters. I'm all for girl power. But this one gets the sledgehammer out and says, girl power, and just starts beating you over the head with it.
And if you have any problems with it, it literally duct tapes your mouth shut so that ironically you will be speechless.
Yeah, it's wow. Okay, we're gonna get to Genie. I want to work through some characters and storyline. And I'm gonna say this, and this is a pro. I want to break these down into, do you think it's pro or con? Aladdin, fine job. I thought he was okay. Yeah. I thought they found a good kid to play Aladdin.
They did.
Okay, thanks for agreeing. But yeah, I liked the opening sequence. I liked I thought he was athletic enough. Obviously, he could sing decently, danced well as also. And he was able to. Okay, yeah.
My one major complaint with him is he didn't have the Aladdin was, for good reason, very streetwise and had kind of a snarky sense of humor about him. I didn't see as much of that with the live action version.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially in particular, Friend Like Me. Like, while Genie was being his hype man in the animated version, Aladdin was kind of soaking it up and playing along with it and playing into it to kind of help sell the help sell the illusion, as it were. And
Well, I
in
think you're
this
talking
one,
about Prince
Aladdin just kind of
Ali. Yeah, yeah.
Prince Ali, but
We're gonna
he
get to
just
that.
he just sort of stands there and stares. He almost does the like Disney princess like crowd wave a couple of times, and I couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I do agree with that. He didn't have the snarky. Even when he was telling jokes on the street, it was more. It wasn't so much snarky as confident. Um, and that's okay as well. It's just a different. It's a different attitude. It's a different actor's choice, I guess. But and it worked for me overall. I think the guy playing Aladdin. I should bring up the cast so we don't have to say guy playing Aladdin.
Mia Masood is
There
the
you
guy
go.
you're looking for
Yeah,
there.
he does a fine job, and which is really cool since he's the backbone and the heart of the story. Hey, Dr. Venkman, how you doing?
Well,
Um,
but that's the sort of irony of all stories of Aladdin.
yeah,
For the most part, they're not actually about Aladdin. Aladdin is sort of the insert character for the audience. The purpose of Aladdin is to basically make someone ask, "What would I do in X, situation there?" And as far as that goes, I can't really complain for him being slightly forgettable because he is supposed to be like a insert character. But at least with classic Aladdin, he was having fun with it. Like, he was a guy who found a magic lamp and, could have basically anything he wanted after being unceremoniously dumped on for most of his life. Who wouldn't be
well,
playful in that situation, kind of, is what
I
I'm getting
I
at
could see
there.
what you're saying in this because as far as the movie goes, um, it's not his story because he's not the one who changes. He
No.
doesn't lie because lying is in his nature. He doesn't lie because he's a thieving street rat and that's how he's been told, like the original. In this one, he lies because it's a matter of convenience, because in order to get the girl, he has to lie. And the other one, you got the feeling that he really was a selfish kind of a jerk.
Yeah,
And
that was the one thing though that I admit that I liked better in this one that he didn't, because I hate the let's have an argument in the second act even though we were being friends five
yeah,
minutes ago over something stupid because lie revealed trope. Like that whole series of tropes just annoys me. So I was
well,
kind of glad that there was a more human like modus operandi behind that this time.
I'm
Because
going to
I
disagree
wanted to
with you.
smack Aladdin in the original. It was just like, you are an idiot. You had one job.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one because this makes the story absolutely not Aladdin's. Aladdin does not change from beginning to end. The whole change seems to be about Jasmine finding her voice, being able to say, "I am woman, hear me roar."
Yeah, the feminism.
Yeah, it really is about that. Instead of Aladdin becoming a better person, it's all about Jasmine being able to stand up and say, "I want to be
well, I
the Sultan."
here's my, and I agree with you about the sort of feminist angle with it, obviously, but here's my thing about that. I don't necessarily think that Aladdin needs to change much.
But it's not his story. It's like you said, it's not his
But
story. He is
in most cases, though, it's not really his story. But even if you wanted to make it more centrally his story, I don't think you need to make him a jerk to make it his story. Aladdin, for me, I think should kind of be like Steve Rogers. He's a guy who's good at heart, who's never gotten a break. And I don't need him to be a jerk about things because really, I just want to see this kid, get, what he wants for once. Because we've all been there, especially, in long, uninterrupted streaks of utter crap where it's just like, can I get a hand up here? So to me, it doesn't necessarily follow that in order to be his story, he has to be a jerk. But also, it's important to acknowledge that in basically every story of Aladdin, we're here sort of putting ourselves in Aladdin's shoes to sort of wonder, what would I do if I were in this situation?
Yeah, but I've never been in that situation because I'm a winner. No, I once again, this is really all about it in the whole thing. It just okay, because I'm on to Jasmine now. You know, we got to talk about this. First of all, gorgeous. Holy Toledo, she's a beautiful woman.
Oh yes.
And yeah, they do dress her up fine. She's wearing some great dresses and everything.
To that point, I will say that one thing that this version does better than the previous one is amping up the Arabian style of it all. Like her just I wanted to be a sultan in that kingdom because dang.
Yeah, she's a very beautiful girl, and I think she also does a fine job. In all honesty, there's only one bit of casting. Yeah, we'll get to that really falls here. She does a great job, I think, but once again, they give her the turning point. They give her, and it comes at the end. If you're familiar with the original movie, it's when Jafar becomes the Sultan. She actually talks out of the genie magic by, I am woman, hear me roar. I am the real Sultan. And she kind of talks everybody out of the genie magic because of this powerful speech she gives. And it's all about, you know, how powerful she is.
To be fair, the genie's magic in Aladdin has always kind of been surface level in the Disney version, at least, because like Jafar like soundly unprinces him by like just getting rid of some of his clothes.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just like, did you guys not spend like all that magic on creating the kingdom and the servants and the like? What was the whole Prince Ali parade about? If not, look at all the shit.
We're gonna get to that. Watch the language. We're gonna get to that. I wanna build to this guy. Okay, so I understand that has always bothered me. I don't know if you saw it, but Hishi had how Aladdin should have ended. And it's like, but I'm not a real prince. What are you talking about? There's a country down south I made for you. Here's the laws of it. Here, blah, blah. And, you know, he did everything he needed to do to actually make him a prince, other than just do a parade and give him a cute outfit.
And to their credit, in this one, they do kind of explain it in the sense of Genie saying, I didn't change anything on the outside. I just gave you all the stuff. Or I didn't change anything on the inside. I just gave you all the stuff on the outside.
Yeah, but some of the stuff on the outside should have been him actually being a bona fide
country and servants and a palace of his own and the whole line. Yeah,
that's part of the magic. Unfortunately, Disney in both versions kind of writes it off and it falls flat. So you have to have Jasmine come up and yell, "I am no longer voiceless," and I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up.
In song.
Yeah, I'm not making that up. That is what she said. I am no longer voiceless. And I understand this is the climate now, because for the last forever, women have been slaves to men. I never knew that.
More feminism. Yeah.
I want to know who did not tell my wife that women were slaves to men. Because she did not get that memo, but that's apparently what's going on. And Jasmine,
I mean, even just looking back at like old 60s sitcoms, Bewitched, for example, there is no earthly way that Dick York's Darren was in charge of that household.
Yeah,
no earthly way in any number of X. But
the thing is, she did fine with what she had. I just thought it was kind of, I see that as a weakness, not a strength. You know, it's like we all say, I've said before, if you have to continue telling people that you're powerful, you're not powerful.
It actually reminds me of something from the original Aladdin, when Genie gets done with Friend Like Me and it flashes the applause sign.
And they just kind of look at
the tone that the messaging was going for. It was like, please applaud our progressivism, please, oh please, oh
This
please.
time
We're
around
trying
though,
so hard.
you get you can clap now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to shift over to Jafar, who everybody had a problem because when you hear him in the preview, instead of having that voice, a Prince of Boo Boo, he's
It's not
kind of
even
high pitched.
necessarily the voice, it's the intensity. It's the
Yeah,
he is conniving, he is evil, and he is loving every minute of it. This one is just the Jafar that you would invite for tea, basically, is this Jafar. Like,
see, I'm gonna disagree with you. I thought actually it ended up being very good. He was a different kind of evil. He was a different kind of scary, shall we say. Jafar was the monster you can see coming. I mean, yeah, you need to hypnotize people around you when you're Jafar from the cartoon.
because there is no earthly way anyone's gonna. Well, maybe this Sultan, because the Sultan in the original was too pure for this world. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always kind of there is one way in which I will give this movie credit in that they made Jafar very relatable.
Yeah.
And they made his not wanting to be second best thing more prominent. In fact, I almost would have preferred they used his song from Return of Jafar, Only Second Rate, because for one thing, that's a really kick butt villain song there, and it always annoyed me that he never got to sing it in the original movie. But also because it really summed up his character of, no, I've been the second best, or I've been inferior all my life. I'm done with being inferior. I'm done with being second rate. And I personally can relate to that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I do, but I gotta say, as much as I did like Jafar in this movie, I didn't like Iago.
There was no character for Iago.
Yeah, they treated him more like a parrot. I mean, he was there and he was doing Jafar's bidding, but it was like, I mean, the beginning where he's just repeating stuff was the only character you got from Iago.
Yeah,
which not a big fan.
I didn't expect the phrase "I miss Gilbert Gottfried" to be passing my lips.
Know, right?
I miss Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, give that bird some personality. I was right when we were taking the preview apart, and I saw what looked like a huge bird. Is okay. This must be when he became a wizard. That scene is from there.
Yeah, Sorcerer Jafar basically turns Iago into the boss fight instead of turning into the snake, which I missed. I missed a lot. I really missed the "a snake am I? Well, let's see how snake-like I can be."
I would have loved
a great line.
Yeah, it was done very well. But this way, you got a little more magic carpet. So that was kind of cool. I mean, I did not mind that at all. What they did, the way they changed that.
They did use carpet very well in this movie. I think, in all honesty, they got a lot of practice out of Doctor Strange's cloak there for his movie. So they utilized carpet to the probably best they can, and carpet was still very cute and very cuddly, and I kind of just wanted to give it a hug.
Yep. So along with, of course, some characters and such, the who wins a battle between Doctor Strange and the genie? The genie.
No.
Cosmic powers. Are we going to go through this again?
No, I can. We can do this some other time, but I just want to say this. For one thing, in the original story, it's made very clear that it was King Solomon that bound the genie into the lamp in the first place. Okay. And secondly, in the Doctor Strange movie, at the very least, we actually see him reading the key of Solomon, like on his first week in Carmartage. So definitely.
So he would know how to bind genies. Gotcha. Definitely Doctor Strange. Okay. I will concede that before we get through. So what do you think about the songs? Let's start with like One Jump Ahead. We're not going to do the two big ones. I'm gonna say we're saving that for last. We're saving Genie for last.
Yeah, he's kind of the big ticket item. So let's save him.
We will get to him. But what do you think about the updating of the songs and everything?
I liked One Jump Ahead in particular.
Yeah, I did too.
Because the parkour sequence that got kind of tied with it was one of the only times where I was like, oh, this really is a Guy Ritchie movie. Well, dang.
Yeah, and it was done very well. It was very well choreographed.
That was one of the things I missed the most of the entire movie was where are all the Guy Ritchie-isms. Like,
yeah.
Because Guy Ritchie is very good at making basically anything stylized. So you would think if anyone was going to be able to do, you know, Arabian atmosphere very heavily stylized, it would be Guy Ritchie. But aside from a few vague sort of Bollywood nods here and there, I didn't really see much stylization. But back to the songs. Let's see. So Whole
New World.
Whole New World was
the girl's got pipes.
Yeah, she can really sing there. I thought that was one of the only scenes where I was like, this is as good as it was in the original one. I would listen to that version about as easily as I would the original version. As to Arabian Nights, which I think we skipped.
That because that's a Genie song. So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So trying to think.
There were a couple of others that were added in, and I thought they were fine. They're not memorable at all. The new songs that were written for the movie, they're completely forgettable.
The thing that bothers me about the new songs is there is actually a Aladdin musical that has additional songs in it. So why didn't they, if they wanted new material, and they, by all means,
because songs written specifically for the movie are eligible for Oscars.
Well, fair enough, I guess. But it would have been nice actually to see, since the live action versions are usually quote unquote expanded versions anyway, it would have been nice to see kind of a merging of the movie and the Broadway musical.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. But yeah, I'm telling you right now, they were thinking different soundtrack and Oscars. Yeah,
especially with Jasmine's thing there, because nothing gets the Academy's voting harder than ideology and message, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of the biggest problems with the Oscars in this day and age.
Oh, by the way, when I was talking earlier, I am sick today, and I took it. I don't remember if I took a Dayquil or a NyQuil. Apparently, it was a NyQuil. So we're gonna move on to the big gun, the controversy, the Will Smith of it all. Okay.
The Fresh Prince of the Lamp.
Yeah, the Fresh Prince of the Lamp. The Fresh Prince of Akraba. So the story starts off, and they do the wraparound again. Where basically it's Will Smith telling the story to his kids this time around, and he's on a boat. And so it goes on, and he decides, and they actually say, "But Daddy, the story's better when you sing." No, kids, no, it's not.
Children, I respect your belief of that because he is your father and all that, but objectively speaking, the genie could really afford to use some magic on his pipes, is all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. Arabian Night. I mean, just dude, you could actually hear auto tune kick in on Arabian Night. It was really bad.
I also was not a fan of I knew they weren't gonna do the original Arabian Nights because politically correct, but I didn't like the unnecessary changes to it, especially because if they were gonna do a more full version of it, they should have just done the verses that got used in the TV series theme song and the verses that got used in some of the sequels, because they did change, or there were new verses of the song for those. So if you wanted to do the full version, aside from, you know, the politically incorrect ones, then just use the song you already have and don't change it for no reason.
My version of Agrabah is where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric.
Yep.
Hey, it's home.
Well, and this is the thing about that. It's not just a Muslim country. It's a Muslim country in what essentially amounts to the Middle Ages. And during the Middle Ages, basically everywhere was kind of barbaric.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why modern Muslims or modern practitioners of Islam would find that particularly objectionable, considering that the story is set several hundred and possibly several thousand years before modern times. Well, so it's not a commentary on modern Muslims, it's a commentary on the, you know, Middle East during like the Dark Ages.
What I don't understand is even in the original movie, they take out the line of the song, but they don't take out the part where he's about to cut off Jasmine's hand for stealing food.
Yeah, that always bothered me, that logic of, okay, you're showing the thing that the song was alluding to, so why? And for the record, that is a historically accurate thing that was done in that part of the world at roughly that time period. Was if you got caught stealing, the logic was you no longer have rights to your hand because your hand is what permitted you to steal. So drink.
Yeah, but yeah, this first song, his right out the gate, I'm like, oh, we're in trouble, aren't we, guys? Because he cannot sing. And yeah, Arabian night, like Arabian days, more hotter than but Arabian night, and oh my Lord in heaven.
And I still love that song because it's a really, really great song, but my God,
it was not great in his hands. But I gotta say this about I do have to say this about Arabian Night. At least it wasn't Friend Like Me. At least it wasn't a Friend Like Me, which I think was the worst of Will Smith's songs. It was, for as bad as we have, you know, we saw that clip where of Prince Ali, and we'll get to that. I think Friend Like Me was abysmal. It really was.
The unnecessary changing of the lyrics bothers me more than anything. Like, is there some reason you couldn't have just played it straight?
Well, first of all, yes, it is a rap. They do it as a rap song. I kind of enjoyed, like, there's before he breaks into the big production number, he kind of does a little bit of a rap, and I kind of like that. And then he goes, I'm just kidding. And he goes into the full on. And at first I'm like, okay, I can dig this. You know, it's the original song, but it's got more of a backbeat. It's got more of, you know, more bass to it.
It wasn't as noticeable as I thought it was going to be. And that was very good because I swore that if he rapped the entire thing, I was going to have a brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
And I probably would have from just sheer rage.
Yeah, and then the lyrics start, and it is, well, Lolly Bob Boy had them 40 thieves, Shivers had 1,000 tales. Master, you're in luck, 'cause up your sleeve, you got a brand of magic, never fails. You got power. It's like he didn't know what the lyrics were, and he was reading them right that time, the very first time on the microphone.
See, this is why rap is a very hard thing to do well to begin with, because it involves a lot of talk singing. And unless you are Johnny Cash, talk singing really doesn't work with, like, musical orchestration.
Yeah, but Will Smith is good at this. We've seen him be good at this. Unfortunately, It wasn't there. It wasn't this time around.
The years have not been kind to Mr. Smith. Sorry.
Oh, apparently.
It's not the 90s anymore. As much as everyone in this movie wishes it were still the 90s so they could get away with the lackluster visuals and lack of boundary pushing, it's not the 90s anymore.
Okay, so Venkman in the audience is saying that Rotten Tomatoes is saving, but I'm looking at it. The tomato meter is 57%. That's not saving. The audience score is 93%.
But that's also probably due to the fact that a lot of people haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that will go down as the weekend goes. But right now, the Aladdin that's sitting at 57% as far as critics are concerned. So it's not being saved. Now, they did make an announcement, but they have changed their policy, but it wasn't because of Aladdin. It was because of Captain Marvel. We're still getting Captain Marvel stuff where, like Venkman is saying, you can't leave a comment if you can't prove you saw the movie. Also, they're going to start handing out blue checks the same way Twitter does. And you're going to hear a lot more celebrity reviews rather than Joe Normal reviews.
Which defeats the whole gosh darn point of the audience review. Right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but that is more backlash from Captain Marvel than it is for Aladdin.
Yeah, the fact that so many people were so vocally against the social justice ideology pushing is what broke them, because that's the moral zeitgeist they all operate under. That's the bourgeois moral standards of the upper class, basically.
Right. That is a lot of bourgeois talk. Yes, but anyway, back to it. I really wasn't a fan of Friend Like Me, which is sad because I did like the music. The music was good. The singing was bad. The rapping was bad, which is amazing to me. I thought the choreography was fine. Both Will Smith and the kid playing Aladdin there was really good at it. And then we get to Prince Ali. Before we do, there's actually, here's the thing. When he is talking, I'm more apt to enjoy it. I like Will Smith being Will Smith. So the in-between scenes are actually charming and fun and enjoyable, same way as Will Smith is.
Yeah, when he's just trying to basically be a supportive friend for Aladdin. Like when you get the sort of friendly, sort of push in the right direction mentor role he's going for, it almost reminded me of what's that movie Will Smith was in? Hitch. Yeah, I think it was called.
The one where he teaches
basically the Middle Eastern magical equivalent of Hitch.
Right.
For most of those scenes. And it really worked.
And then we get to Prince Ali. Now we saw the clip of Prince Ali, the opening where he's like, so put on your Sunday salam and try your best to stay calm.
To their credit, they did change the lyrics there from Sunday to Friday because they realized the actual Sabbath in Islam is Friday, not Sunday.
Yeah. So gosh, I'll tell you what, man, it started up and I'm seeing this. I'm like, holy shit, this is better than what we saw. So excuse my language. I did it. So I'm watching, I'm going, this is going to be good. Look at how they're doing them. Once again, the music got me. There's a huge pageantry to it. They really did capture it.
The opening bit really was what was missing from Prince Ali. It still wasn't great though.
I'm going to disagree with you on most of that. I'm not 100% saying it's not great because, like I said, I thought the direction was good on it. I thought the visuals are great. I love the fact that they actually had a Bollywood dance in there. I was very happy about that. They have another one later at a excuse me, at a party they're at. But I love anytime they had the Bollywood style dancing, I'm in.
But that's the thing, and this is one of my biggest complaints with the movie is if you've ever seen a Bollywood musical, they go over the top like it's nobody's, like there's no tomorrow. And if they had gone all the way with it, I would have liked this movie a lot more. Because a lot of my problem with the new Aladdin is there's just a sincere lack of spectacle on display here. And given that somebody, probably Guy Ritchie, made the very smart decision to make it Bollywood style, um, if you're gonna go Bollywood, you go full Bollywood. You don't do the half measure thing, but they still kind of did the half measure thing.
Well, I disagree with you. I thought they really went out. I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable, except for Will Smith. I mean, I love the dancing. I love the colors. I love the direction of it. The visuals were awesome. But Prince Ali, fabulous he, Alia Baba. Can you flex? Show some respect down on one knee. Is oh gosh, this guy has no life to him.
Yeah,
You know
and
what?
also
When he danced, he did, but when he was rapping, it was like he didn't have any confidence in it.
yeah, he was very hollow, like he was trying to mouth the words, but he didn't really
Yeah,
have any pep in them.
the
But but
he
again,
was
I think we mentioned this once before. The main thing that was missing with that though was there was no selling of the gimmicks like there was before.
yeah
Um, like, and part of this is again Mina Masood's fault because he's just sitting there through the whole thing. Like, at least Aladdin in the original tried to help. Like when
yeah
he when Genie was trying to make all the women wet for him, he was showing off like he was basically at a Middle Eastern men's calendar or something, and it worked. But this one just sort of sits there, and it's like, Al, what are you doing? You're not helping. What? Why?
yeah yeah. I agree on that point. That he wasn't exactly into it as either. But once again, I'm just backing this up. I'm based on the spectacle of it, and that I thought was okay overall, though. And I do really think we need to wrap this up. Um,
Because
I
that quote.
yeah, I know. I took a what I thought was a Dayquil, but it's not. So I'm actually falling asleep right now. But I think that the film is completely passable. It's not great, but it is the second best of the live action remakes. I just don't like the live action remakes, with the exception of the Jungle Book. I mean, the other ones, they might not be offensive, but they're definitely not worth a lot of mention.
And
This one,
see,
on the other hand, falls right on in there. There's some decent stuff to look at. But in all honesty, and here I'm going to wrap this up and I'll give you the last word.
okay,
As far as going to the movies with your kids, if you haven't seen it yet, Detective Pikachu. It's
yeah,
a far better
my
film than
gosh,
Aladdin.
so much.
Yes, far better movie, and I think they would have a blast at it. And more importantly, so would the adults. As far as Aladdin's concerned, watch the cartoon. All right, you've got the final closing review.
Yeah, okay. So there are so many different versions of Aladdin. I recently discovered one from like 1986, which I think is better than this movie. Um, so when you do a version of Aladdin, you really have to bring something. You gotta once again go all in, or you're not even bothering. Um, I, on the other hand, really like the Disney live action remakes. I think Walt would be happy with them, and I think in general they usually. I mean, Cinderella was a bit bland. I hate Maleficent. But the only one that makes me genuinely upset is this one, and I think it's because I so much liked particularly Robin Williams, but overall Aladdin as a whole. And this one just it didn't bring enough for me. Like if you're again, if you're gonna go full Bollywood, go full Bollywood. If you're gonna go for spectacle, go for spectacle. If you're gonna do some new and interesting things, go all the way with it. If you're gonna do a translation of the animation, then you better translate that animation. But it just it fell completely flat for me, and I generally kind of like these, so there are dozens of other versions of Aladdin you can watch, and like Anglantine said, Detective Pikachu is still in theaters, and maybe you can find Shazam on digital at some point in the near future.
Don't take them to see Brightburn. That's not a Superman movie.
If you're looking for a dark movie, then by all means go for Brightburn, because Brightburn's
not with your kids, not with the kids. Yeah.
Oh, every kid's got to see an R-rated movie at least once, so why not?
Right. All righty. Thank you, Venkman and Eric, for sitting in on this. Anybody else watching, thank you very much for coming to this late even. Thanks, Dalton, for adding your 2 cents. Like I said, I knew we weren't going to disagree on as much as we thought, even though we
I think the main difference is you generally don't care for the live action remakes all that much, whereas I do.
Yeah.
So I had further to fall, and you were just like, this is another one of these that isn't very good.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Yeah. Well, seeing how well they translated the spectacle in Beauty and the Beast, after seeing that, I really hate this.
Oh, that's too bad. It really is. While I'm telling everybody that it's at least, when it comes on the streaming service, catch it then. I would not waste the $14 on it. All righty, guys. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. Eric, Venkman, thank you very much. Dalton, once again, and thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.
Cheers, guys.